So guys, you guys can start asking me a question.
Okay, what's your opinion about psycholinguistics?
What's my opinion about
Yes.
psycholinguistic? Oh, you mean what is psycholinguistic?
No. What's your opinion?
Oh,
Your opinion
my
about
opinion.
yeah.
Psycholinguistic is a field of study that consists of that combine two main fields, which is the psychology and linguistic. Psychology is the study of our mind, and linguistic, as you know, is the study about language. So, to put it simply, psycholinguistic is study about how our mind process language. That's my opinion. Another one.
Can you explain about the cognitive issue and language processing and give an example?
Okay, the example of cognitive issue in applied linguistics is mostly about our memories. So there's two kind of memory when we're talking, which is the short memory and long-term memory. Short memory is, for the example of short memory is when you and me talk right now. You actually remember what my explanation from the start, from the beginning into the end. That's the short memory, the use of short memory, while the long-term memory in applied linguistics is more about like how you remember the grammar, how you remember the vocabs, etc. and etc.
Okay, what do you know about dual activation?
Dual language
Dual
activation.
language activation in psycholinguistics.
Dual language activation is actually a phenomenon found in bilingual, trilingual, or even polyglot person when they when they're thinking, when we are thinking, we actually think in a certain language, right? But for example, for bilingual people, because they speak two languages, their brain could actually think in two different languages simultaneously. So your brain could think in English or Indonesian at the same time. So that's dual language activation.
Okay, thank you.
Question next one.
Can you explain about language selection?
Language selection. It's a very interesting one. Again, it's derived from dual language activation. Where when you are bilingual, for example, when you speak both Indonesian and English, you can actually choose what do you want to speak. You can choose if you wanted to speak Indonesian or English. That's language. I'm sorry, what? Language activation. But you can also, because you're bilingual, you have those ability. You can actually think in English and speak in Indonesia. That's also possible. Any other question?
Explain about the variation language
Variation.
experience.
Variation language.
Experience.
Oh, uh, I will give you an example of it. Okay, so when there's a people who grew up speaking only one language and then learn their second in school or by themselves in their adulthood, while there's also some people who their parents have different mother tongue. For example, her mother speak Indonesian and her father speak English. So because they were exposed to both of the language during their childhood, they actually have two mother tongue language. So that's language experience. And there's also, again, like I said before, people who learn it in their adulthood. So maybe at home they only speak one languages, their parents speak the same language, and then later on they try to learn other language in their adulthoods.
How about you,
How many minutes left?
It's 4.5.
what do you think about psycholinguistics as a whole, like in general?
It's a very interesting field of study.
It's good answer.
Good answer. Good answer, I think.
Fifty second or 40 seconds.
There ask the questions when it's our group's turn. Time to assess.
Assess.
Stop it, Axel.
Okay, presenter, let's have your first rotation.
Thank you. Thank you. Morning, guys.
In your opinion, which
Slow down.
Done? Done? Yeah. Okay, presenter ready? Nice.
Yeah, go on, selfie.
so in your opinion, which is harder?
Which is what?
Harder?
Harder.
Learning language in young age or adult age?
Obviously, when we are adult, because when we were young, we mostly didn't learn. We mostly practice language. For example, when you have parents who both of them have different mother tongue, you actually practice from both of them, so it doesn't really burden you, unlike when you try to learn it when you were an adult. So I think it's the adult one. In my opinion, it's when you were young, it's the easier.
What is the difference between language process and psycholinguistic?
Like, what is what?
The difference
The difference
between
between
language process and
language process,
psycholinguistic.
language process and psycholinguistic.
Yeah.
I really don't know what you mean by language process, but psycholinguistic is the study of consists that combine of two main fields, which is psychology and linguistic. And as you know, psychology is the study of how our mind works, and linguistic is the study about language. So, in short, psycholinguistic is the study about how our mind process language. I don't know about the other one. What is that?
Because that's the key of our learning focus.
Language understand.
Language process. Language process. But it's a plus. That's
Learning process.
Yeah.
Of language.
Is it a part of psycholinguistic or not?
Another question?
What do you know about dual language activation and what the example?
Dual language activation is a phenomenon when you are, for example, bilingual, trilingual, or even a polyglot. It's a phenomenon where your brain actually can decide which language to use. For example, if you speak English and Indonesian, your brain could decide if you wanted to think in Indonesian or you wanted to think in English, and that's also happening in speaking. So when you wanted to think in English, you can also speak in English simultaneously, but you can also there's a phenomenon where when you think in Indonesian and you speak in English, that's also possible if you're a bilingual that speaks two language.
What do you think about people that they understand about the language but
Uh-huh.
they cannot speaking it clearly? What do you think about that? What happened to their brain?
Oh, what happened to their brain? I think it's mostly about the cognitive issue, like the memorization and practice. So if you're already understand the language, I think you just need to practice more because you already understand it. You have the skill set to understand, but not the skill set to practice it.
Can you explain clearly about psycholinguistic, and can you give for example of that?
The example of psycholinguistic. All of the previous example that I have been telling you is the example of psycholinguistic, which is when your brain think in different think in the. I'm sorry. When you're bilingual, your brain can choose to think between two of your languages, and when you wanted to practice your second language, if you wanted to think in one language and speak in different language, that's also possible. It's the example of psycholinguistic.
Why do you are you interested in this field? Psycholinguistics field?
Psycholinguistic in general, not yet because I haven't learned much about it, but it's for me it's a pretty interesting field of study. Yes.
Could you give me example from language selection, maybe? Language selection.
Okay. I will give you my own experience because I'm a bilingual myself. I speak many local language, and also I speak a little bit of English. I can do, for example, I can think in my mother tongue and I speak in English just as I did right now.
Thank you. That clear explanation.
Aldi. Thank you, guys.
Maybe introduction.
Yeah, my name is Aldi. You can call me Aldi. Have you guys prepared your question?
Yeah, the hard one.
The easy one, the hard one. Okay, okay. Give you. So this is your first time with class Anak?
No, but practicing this kind of assessment.
Okay, ready? Then we go. Now.
Which one of you? What?
Can you tell me the cognitive difficulties?
Cognitive difficulties of?
Psychology.
Oh, it's as per name stated, it's mostly about cognitive, which is the ability to remember things, to apply things, and to assess things. So in psycholinguistic, it's mostly about how do you remember the grammar, how you remember the words. I'm sorry, how you remember the vocabs, how do you remember how to apply it, that kind of thing.
So,
Maybe you can explain about dual language activation.
Dual language activation. So I will explain it. Dual language activation is a phenomenon where if you are bilingual, you can actually choose which language you wanted to use. For example, if you speak Indonesian and English, you can choose if you wanted to use English or Indonesian. That's dual language activation. And I'm sorry, what the other question of yours?
No,
Just
explain that.
can you just explain more about the psycholinguistics?
Psycholinguistic is a field of studies that combine that is the result of mixing of two main field of study, which is psychology and linguistic. Psychology is mainly the study about how our mind works, and linguistic is a study about language. So in short, psycholinguistic is a field of studies that study how our mind process language.
Can you explain about first language acquisition, please?
First what?
First language acquisition in
First language acquisition.
in psycholinguistics.
First language acquisition is a process when you trying to acquire your other language. So all of human born with one mother tongue. So for example, you were born with English or you were born in with Indonesian. So first language acquisition is the process of you learning other language. So if you are Indonesian, it's the process of you, for example, wanted to learn English or wanted to learn French or Spanish. That's first language acquisition.
Maybe you know like about correlations of cognitive and Alzheimer.
I don't really know. I cannot speak of those because it's not my field of expertise. Sorry.
Okay, okay. What about the cognitive difficulties of being bilingual or multilingual?
Cognitive difficulties of being bilingual or multilingual. It's exactly the opposite. If you are bilingual, you really don't have the issues or difficulties with your cognitive because you can already do more than a normal people does. So for example, if you can speak two languages, you actually don't have a issue with your cognitive. You're actually pretty gifted even, because speaking more than one language is hard. So it's the opposite of it. It's not an issue. But you might face some difficulties like remembering some vocabs or the grammar of, because as you know, different language have different grammar, so it's not an issue, it's more about a challenge, really. Language processing? What language? I don't know.
I think it's not processing.
Yeah. I language processing.
One, in the below.
The fourth one. Language experience.
No, after that.
Yeah, we have 5 foci. If I remember correctly, is psycholinguist. It's language.
Or any topic you want to ask about the
Okay, stop and assess. Make sure you assess it. If you don't assess, you get a punishment for your inaction. I'm going,
Aldi.
it's going to be a reduction
Aldi.
for your own presentation score. Presenter, let's have another rotation.
Thank you, guys. Good, good morning. Good morning, guys.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Right. Presenter, go.
Yeah, go on. You guys can ask me a question. Which
What do you think the connection between psycholinguistic and also first language acquisition?
psycholinguistic and first language acquisition? Okay, so first language acquisition is the case of psycholinguistic. So as you know, first language acquisition is actually the phenomenon of us learning our other language other than our mother tongue. So that's the relation between psycholinguistic and the first language acquisition.
What do you think is this for your own opinions? The baby who learn two languages in the same times can make them speech delays. So it's related with the psycholinguistic.
Yeah, if a baby, I think for many of the example, the babies who learn more than one language when they're a baby. For example, when their parents have two different languages, yeah, maybe they can might face difficulties because they learning too. But for most of us, it's not really a big of a problem. Even for you, I think you're a bilingual, right? Ah, do you have any challenges or issues when you are learning two languages? Not
little bit.
a little bit,
Yeah,
but
yes.
it's more like a challenge, not an issue, right? Yeah, so I think it is possible for you to have difficulties, but I think it's mostly in most cases it's not really that hard for a baby if they learn it from their parents. I think it's a different question when you learn it in school or you learn language yourself. You might face some difficulties, but if you learn language from your parents, I think because you get more practice to use those languages, the process of it became easier.
Can you explain how the brain process to pick which language to speak for bilingual people?
Oh, language activation. Oh, so language activation is actually a phenomenon found in bilingual or trilingual people where their brain can choose which language to use. So, for example, if you were Indonesian and English bilingual, your brain could choose whether to think in English or in Indonesian.
Can you explain about first language acquisition?
First language, based on my understanding, again, it's a process of you acquiring your other languages. So what specific question you wanted to ask from those?
How the babies learn their first language from their born?
Oh, I'm not a baby expert, but from my understanding, when you were a baby, you're going to make a lot of mistakes. First, you're going to make a lot of spelling mistakes. You cannot pronounce things right. You don't even know what grammar is. So from there, you kind of practice until you were like a kid, like 5 or 6 years old, and then you could started to speak more fluently in those language because you already have uh, many experiences practicing those language. Another question.
So learn more than one language can be effective to our brains.
Yeah,
Can you explain about it?
yeah. It's actually quite good for your brain. I think if you were a bilingual, it means that you have a strong cognitive ability, which is the ability to remember things, to apply things like problem solving. So it's actually, in my opinion, it's actually great for your brain because your brain, you train your brain to work harder.
So what the correlations between the psycholinguistic and sign language?
I actually cannot answer that. I don't know because I those aren't aren't to be found in the paper, so I cannot. And also, that's not my field of expertise. I'm not an expert. Aldi. Yes, this Aldi. What's her name? Thank you guys. Thank you guys.
Is done? Okay, center. Go.
Morning guys. So which one of you wanted to start? Wanted to go first?
Can you explain about language processing?
Language processing.
Yeah.
Okay, so language processing is the phenomenon when your brains process the language that you use. So, for example, when you are a bilingual, your brain will, you can control your brain to choose if you wanted to speak in your first or your second language. So, like, if you're a Indonesian and English bilingual, you can actually choose if you wanted to think and speak in Indonesian or in English.
Can you explain about how you learn when you came in Padang? So maybe you have like a little Minang language, and also like you can compare about your language and also Indonesian language, but you realize that when you came in Padang, your brain need to understand. It's not just like fluent in your language. So can you explain about how the brain understand the new language in this age, not just like from when we was a child?
Okay, so to answer your question, I can't really answer the brain process because I'm not the expert, but based from my experience when I came here, I didn't understand the language, so the first thing that I do is I try to learn the vocabs. So after I learn the vocabs, I learn how to use those vocabs, which is the grammar of those, and after some practice, I could speak Minang a little bit. So yeah.
So what is difficult to learn a language in this age, or maybe easily from when we were a child?
In my opinion, it's easier for you to learn language as a child because as a child you mostly learn language from your parents, right? So, for example, if your parents have two mother tongues, and when you're a child, you mostly practices them with your parents, which already fluent in those language, rather than you are an adult and you learn from someone else. You're not going to have a lot of practice compared to what you have with your parents. So I think it's easier when you were a child.
Do you think in Indonesia there are still people who are monolingual?
It could have been, yeah. So, but we're Indonesian, we mostly are bilingual, and because first we speak our own local language, and then we speak Bahasa Indonesia. So I think it's possible there's people who are monolingual in Indonesia, but for most of Indonesian, I think most of them are at least bilingual.
Can you explain the difference in your understanding, the difference between dual language activation and dual language selection?
Dual language activation and dual language selection.
because I guess it is a different way of understanding language.
Dual language activation is actually the example of dual language selection. So when your dual language activation is when your brain activate, for example, when you're a bilingual, right? You speak Bahasa and your English. So there's might be a time when your brain thinks in both of the language. So like half of it think in Indonesian and other half think in English. So and language selection is the process of you choosing those language which one you wanted to use.
Do you think it's possible for a native to have a foreign language as their first language?
A native,
A native
yes, a
have
native,
foreign language
foreign
as
language.
their first language, as their L1.
L1. Can you repeat your question?
Is it possible for an Indonesian,
Indonesian?
to have like maybe a
Spanish?
first language?
It is completely possible. For example, if you were Indonesian who lives in Spain, right? So, and your parents doesn't
like,
really.
They are a native, so they live in Indonesia,
Uh-huh.
but their first language is not Indonesian. Is it possible?
But you're already a native in Indonesian. How can you be a native in Spanish?
What
So
I
no,
meant
it's not.
is
Do
like,
you want me to clarify?
yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Do you want to know the answer for that? So when I need your name first for the assessment.
Aldi. I don't really get her question, so yeah.
Aldi, just Aldi.
Aldi is.
So when you are when you live in when you are live in some country,
Uh huh.
like both of
Use an example, please. I kind of slow.
you're in Indonesian, right?
Yes.
Both of your parents are Indonesian.
Yes.
And the question is, could English be your native language? It cannot. It could never be your native language.
Like if you're born and raised in Indonesia,
Uh huh.
could Spanish be your first language?
No, because you're an Indonesian native.
No, the first language that they learn is going to be Spanish, but Spanish is not going to be their native language. It's not going to be their mother tongue because they live in Indonesia. They born and raised in Indonesia.
Yes.
But it's exceptional if both of your parents are Spanish.
Oh yeah, I get.
That's no logic.
So is it possible?
No.
You will get the answer in next semester in second language acquisition.
Okay, you can stop recording now.